the Bolton Bees family. They are a family-owned, first-generation business established in 2014 and beekeeping since 2008. They're a married couple that loves beekeeping. Travis Bolton grew up on a farm in northern Minnesota. He got his undergraduate degree in fisheries and wildlife from the U of M. He has owned his own remodeling company, Bolton Construction, since 2007. He plays lead guitar in a popular original Twin Cities band called Tree Party. Kiara Bolton has her master's in public healthcare administration and policy from the U of M and a master's in international relations from the University of San Francisco. She has lived in China for over 5 years and can speak Mandarin and Chinese. She has done extensive work with the aging population of Minnesota and continues to stay involved. So if you join me in giving a warm welcome to the Bolton Bees family.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Kara Bolton, co-owner of my husband Travis Bolton of Bolton Bees. Our company creates Minnesota honey queens, location-specific honey, and solar honey. We've also formed a public benefit corporation called the Solar Honey Company. First, I'll tell you about what we do. I am a queen breeder. I take a thriving colony and manipulate the field two basic survival instincts. These instincts make them desperately eager to raise a queen. To do this, I remove their current queen so that they feel hopelessly queenless. A hive will die without its queen. I also make them feel overwhelmingly crowded and on a major nectar flow. This will make them have the urge to swarm. Swarming is how colonies multiply themselves naturally in the wild. Then I give them queens to raise. The real art form is grafting. This is a very specialized skill set. This is how queens are raised. However, it's only the mechanical part of the process. As queen breeders, we must select for traits. In particular, we select for being able to survive our long, cold, northern winters. Alright, so overwintering. I'm going to give you guys some information about that. So there are 2,341,500 colonies that were reported as being located in the northern part of the United States by backyard beekeepers. So that's not including any migratory operations. In 2015, beekeepers in northern states had a 48% overwintering death rate. The Minnesota bees fared even worse, at 58.5% loss. That is 1,123,920 colonies that annually die during the winter time. Every year, northern beekeepers are losing over half of their stock. Imagine any other type of agriculture industry losing over half of your livelihood, your stock. That's a big deal. This is not a good percentage. It's actually about a $225 million loss. The last 2 years, our company has had over a 90% overwintering success rate. The Bolton Bees honey is raw, local, and location specific. We have multiple apiaries throughout the state of Minnesota, each with a diverse array of flowers and trees blooming there, which naturally create the unique flavors, colors, and textures of honey. There you go. So one may wonder, why is it so special to eating raw, location-specific honey? The market for location-specific honey is significant. To those interested in a healthy lifestyle, to foodies, to locavores, a location-specific honey is as interesting as a specific vineyard is to an enophile. U.S. consumption of honey in 2015 reached 486.3 million pounds. On average, a U.S. citizen is estimated to consume 1.51 pounds of honey a year. However, 80% of honey consumed is imported from outside the United States in order to meet the growing demand. According to Food Safety News, more than 75% of honey being sold in the United States is not real honey. The honey products being imported have been microfiltered and processed to a point that all pollen has been removed. Without pollen, without pollen, it is impossible to determine if honey is pure. So due to the demand for pure honey, many countries are labeling their honey as pure, although they are in fact blending with non-honey substances. This is called honey laundering. Meanwhile, our U.S. market is being flooded with imported and possibly adulterated honey. And at the same time, there's this growing local war movement. Consumers are interested in eating food that is locally produced and didn't have to travel far to market. So you can see here on this jar here, where it's circled, it says Canada, Argentina, India, Ukraine, Uruguay. That's how you can kind of look when you buy honey. Look at and see where it actually was made. Don't look at where it was manufactured, because this one says it's manufactured in Houston, Texas. Look at like the hidden, parts. Can you click it again? You can see here it says Turkey, Argentina, Canada. This one, Brazil, Canada. So Bolton Bees specifically markets our honeys to show where it originates from. Bolton Bees is proud of the diverse array of honey we're able to extract from each location. This specialized process allows us, and I already read that one. So we call this location-specific honey. And if you haven't stopped by our booth, you can stop by later on and try the different locations from each of our honeys and how it really takes unique from each other. Even 10 miles apart can have different flavors and colors of honey. And so we've been partnering with solar developers this past year, and this is a new thing that we're doing, and we're featured in National Geographic, Martha Stewart, Smithsonian about this partnership. So there's all these solar developments being built throughout the United States, and a lot in the Midwest too, and these solar arrays usually have gravel or turf grass underneath the panels. We're partnering with developers who are being intentional about the land use practices. So instead of having gravel or turf grass, they're planting a pollinator friendly. So that's actually creating a lot of habitat that wouldn't have been there before. And these contracts are for 20 plus years. So that's pollinator friendly habitat for 20 plus years. And it's enriching the soil, and it's providing habitat for birds, bees, and butterflies. 1 acre pollinator friendly is equivalent to 600 6x12 backyard gardens. And we're on arrays that are over 40 acres or more, so it really makes a big difference. And that's our solar honey. And this next part, Travis is going to take over, and this is just a picture of the flower. And he's able to not read the script and know everything. So.
So is there anybody in here that's a beekeeper? Jason? Anybody in here that's interested or is thinking about doing it in the future? Very cool, very cool. So when you first get into beekeeping, there's 2 different avenues you need to go down. It's how are you going to get your bees? Your options are either just get a package of bees, which is on top there, or you get a nucleus colony, otherwise called a nuke. A nuke is a hive with, which in the bottom is you have your queen, and you have all the bees and brood in that hive that are her offspring. So you essentially have a small family that's already exists, that's already functioning. A package of bees, it's random bees that are shaken into a box that are weighed. You either get a 2-pound or a 3-pound package. So the unrelated bees, then you have a queen in a cage that's in there with that package. When you get your package delivered to you, you shake those bees out into your box. Then the bees have been smelling the queen's pheromone for the last few days where they've been traveling to get here. So you hope that they accept the queen. The queen is in a cage at this point. She hasn't been let out of the cage. So then you put a little candy cork in the cage, and the bees eat out that candy. By the time they eat that out, you hope that they've accepted that queen. In a nuke, she's obviously already accepted. You have bees emerging every day. You have bees at all stages of life. You have eggs, larvae, pupa in a nuke. So we're big advocates for nukes because you're about 20 or 30 days ahead of a package. We're also big advocates, obviously, for local. There's many positives to buying bees from your immediate area. One of them being, right now is actually the start date for packages being delivered to Minnesota. As you can see, those people out in California aren't on our same schedule. I mean, it's very cold outside, not a good time to start a hive with a package. I mean, there'll be people, I'm sure, they'll be bringing these packages in their garages, bringing them in their living rooms, just to try and keep them warm enough until it can kind of be warm enough outside to put them into their hive.
And then you think of the age of those bees. So those bees probably, shipped them from hives
Yeah.
maybe, a week ago.
Right.
Had to travel to Minnesota. Now it's maybe be another week before they're come to the hives.
Mhm.
And so the age of those bees, maybe they started off as young bees, and now, they're older bees. And so it's a lot of work for them to do with actually the hive going.
Yeah, as bees age in a colony, their tasks change. So when a bee, like recently, right away when she emerges out of the worker brood, she's a nurse bee. And as she ages throughout her life, which is usually around 20 to 30 days, actually during the main season, her tasks change. So yeah, as if they're all getting older, it kind of throws things kind of out of equilibrium for when that queen starts laying eggs. So we're big advocates for these. The other thing for local is that we are staying here with our hives. We are queen breeders. We're selecting traits that are favorable to Minnesota. Obviously, a trait that we all deal with is overwintering. It's sort of tougher. I wouldn't say it's the toughest thing in beekeeping, but it's definitely one of the tougher things is getting your hives from fall to the following spring, starting the next season. So here we have, that's a frame right there that shows on the bottom left corner, that's capped honey. And then right there, that's capped brood. So that's brood that's about to emerge. You see the left of that, see that white dot on that bee? That's a queen bee. So in our hives, we typically mark our queens because for a lot of the tasks that we have to do, it's necessary for us to know exactly where the queen is. So if we have a small dot on her back, it makes it a lot easier to do our bee work. Then around that capped brood, you can't see in the picture, but that would be other stages of larvae that have yet to be capped. So this is an overwintering yard. This is last year. I think I say the date it's a video actually.
Yeah. So he's gonna pull it up here for us.
So we also do something a little unique that we actually overwinter nukes, those smaller colonies that I was talking about earlier. So this is a yard that we had double nukes. The reason why we have all these hives right next to each other, that these actually overwintered in a box that same size with a divider board. So there's a hive on each side of that divider board. So our task we're doing right now is we're going into the yard and we're taking those smaller hives and transferring them into full size equipment. And then we're getting ready for the honey hole. So then we would take these hives away and bring them to our honey yards. You can hit play here. It's kind of interesting video from last year. This is in Scandia, Minnesota.
Hey, Travis. What you doing?
We're transferring overwintered nukes into production equipment to run for honey this year.
We're overwintering.
Whole yard. Was overwintered 4-frame nukes and double nuke boxes. On August 11th, we started these with the mated queen. All our stock. And they're looking really good. It's April 21st right now. We haven't done any feeding yet this spring. We didn't do any feeding over winter either. No candy boards or pollen sub or anything. Resources are already coming in pretty nicely. pollen and some fresh nectar there.
That's cat free.
We're in Hugo. No, where were we? We're in Scandia. It's a nice cat root. We're very happy with that. You can see ring of nectar there. So definitely they're not short on feed, which is nice, but we are going to feed them here a little bit. There's the queen, marked queen. We're guys heard a mini nuke last summer.
See, actually a little bit longer than the other bees too. So, and never that tight.
So they're going to get 2 frames of foundation and 2 combs to build up in. This is essentially, actually, if you were to buy a little while, you'd be doing this exact same thing
1 gallon
that I'm doing right here.
before
Trade
it's
that
in
second
your box.
full-size equipment.
That nice, see all that pollen in there?
A hive like that, starting on 4 frames of bees and brood, we think it can go to be a 6-7 foot tall hive. Depending on the season, it's definitely not rare to get 100 pounds of honey. There's 150 pounds of honey.
So that's how we start off in the spring. We have the nuke, transfer it to our production hive equipment, and then as it grows, we continue to give it boxes.
Yeah, so the way a colony establishes itself, so the bottom 2 boxes, we call that the brood nest. That's where the queen stays, and that's where she's laying and raising bees. But the way they orient it above that brood nest, that's where they store their surplus honey. And they just pack it on as much as they possibly can, as much as the season will allow, because they want to plan for the future. They're getting ready for winter. That's their whole thing, is they want to get ready for winter. So you just try to stay ahead of them, and if you have a good season like that right there, that's both those sides. Those are definitely good for 175, 200 pounds of honey, each one of those. That's what we shoot for. So those are queen cells. So those are queen cells that we raise. Those would be emerging probably in that day. So we're pulling those queen cells. We've made queen's colonies elsewhere where we'll put that queen cell in there. She'll emerge as a virgin, and 7 days later she'll go on her mating flights, and she'll mate with 10 to 15 different drones. And then she comes back to her hive after those mating flights, and she'll start laying in another 5 to 7 days. And she can lay sometimes 2-3 more years just off those initial mating flights. So within your hive, you have genetic diversity because she mated with all the different drones. So within a hive, you have sisters. They're all sisters because they have the same mom, but a lot of them have different dads. So those are just regular sisters. But if they have the same dad, then they're called super sisters. There's been a lot of research that they interact a little bit differently amongst each other.
Almost all the bees in the hive are female.
Yeah.
So there's worker bees. Those are the bees that you typically, when you see bees out in the real world, those are worker bees, and those are females. There are drones, and those are the males. And their sole function is to wait for the virgin to fly by and mate with her.
And the drone's actually a genetic copy of their mom, which is kind of interesting.
So we split out hives because we want, for a number of different reasons. One of them is if they're getting really big, we maybe want to prevent them from swarming. So maybe we take take a couple of frames from those hives and give it a queen cell instead of a new hive. That's one reason. But we're big proponents of nukes.
Yeah, so this is a nuke yard. This is what I was talking about earlier about the standard box is divided in the center, and above that we have super. So it's 2 hives functioning right next to each other. They do really well over wintering because they actually kind of share the heat of each other. So each colony kind of helps the other one next to it. So we find they really do well. And also make a more narrow cavity and more closely resembles their native habitat, which is actually a hollowed out tree. That's what, bees in the wild, that's what they're used to. So that tighter space, they really do well.
So that split we take off from those hives that were wanting to swarm, we put them into these nuke boxes, and they don't, maybe they get some honey, but their main goal isn't honey, it's to get honey the next year. They overwinter really well, and so we keep them in the nuke boxes, and they overwinter as nukes, and then that spring you see what we just did in that video. And just another nuke gather. You want to say any other benefits of nukes?
So then come late July, early August, that's when we do our honey extraction. So we go to all our bee yards and we pull those top boxes of honey. And we bring them to our honey house, which is up in northern Minnesota. It's in Monaga, Minnesota, which is around Park Rapids area. And so we have a crew, about 5 or 6 of us doing honey extraction time. So a real tight time period. You want to get your honey off, and you want to get back into your colonies to assess health, assess their mite levels. The roll mites, I'm going to talk about a little bit, but it just goes hand in hand with beekeeping. If you're beekeeping, you think of bees, and also you have to think of like mites, because it's something that plagued the honeybee a number of years ago.
Right, so this is a video, you can actually skip the first, I think, almost 4 minutes. Maybe not 4 minutes.
Well, let's just skip a minute.
Yeah, maybe a minute. Because it's a video that we took at our, one of our pollinator honey solar arrays.
This is perfect.
Oh yeah, so here's us pulling honey.
This is a solar array in Ramsey, Minnesota, Nexus Energy.
And then you'll be able to see us extract it.
So that's the end capper that's taking the outer layer of wax. Centrifuge, the honey out of the frames.
It's just using a centrifugal force, and all honey comes out. And because we have raw honey, any type of debris that is still left over in the honey floats to the top. Honey is heavy, so everything floats to the top, and everyone will skim off the top. Bottle. You can get it.
So then after we've done our honey, like I was saying, there's a tight window of time, you want to get back, and you guys will be taking their surplus honey. You've left a little bit of honey in them for a period of time. Part of beekeeping, is feeding them too. You got in the winter, you have to get them back up to weight, you have to make sure they have enough feed. Now, some of the seasons, you don't have to worry about it, but typically, you always have to feed them a certain amount. Typically around 2 to 4 gallons of heavy sugar water, which is 2 to 1 sugar in the fall. It's roughly 16 pounds of sugar per gallon of water.
This is a video, but I don't know if
I don't think we need to show this video. This is me getting a hive ready for winter.
We have a YouTube channel, Bolton Bees. If you want to watch it, you can go on there and see it.
Another thing I'll talk about too, when you're getting going into beekeeping, you have to think, where do I get my equipment? One of the biggest beekeeping supply places is in Minnesota. They're called Man Lake. They're in Hackensack, Minnesota. We use them a lot. I also would say that building your own equipment is very doable. I mean, we build almost all of our own equipment. There's a real cost savings in that. So just building your boxes, your bottom boards, your lids. I recommend buying frames. They're reasonably priced, and that's the easy ones to buy. So then in the winter, it's just a lot of time, you know, you go back out, just kind of see how things are going, you can hear the hives humming along in there, you hear a good hum, you know you're fine.
And we're still actually doing this now.
And we didn't expect to be doing that currently, we still are. It's been such a long spring with you.
So one of the things that we need in order to have healthy hives, a lot of honey, have them over winter, is we need to make sure that we don't have mites.
Yeah, so just keeping your hives healthy, and that's when, you know, people talk about, oh, it's plaguing the honeybees, the honeybees are declining.
So you see on the bee right there, that little red dot on the top, that's a mite. That's a tick that's on the bee.
So varroa mites that's one of the things, they're pretty much, yeah, they're little ticks, and the biggest issue that they cause, they transmit viruses. There's about over 20 viruses that they pass from colony to colony. So aside from sucking on a bee and, you know, degrading their immune system, they're also passing along these viruses. So mite levels, they have to be kept in check. So if you're getting into bees, just understand the varroa mites, you don't always see them like that. You can have a major problem when you can't see them on the bees. So I just really recommend to take mites very seriously. You might as well just do it right out the get-go. Save yourself a few $100s probably in bees, because your hives will not survive if you don't really keep close tabs on your mite levels.
So this is what not healthy frame of bees looks like because of mites and the viruses that they pass on, and a healthy frame of bees, a brood looks like. You can kind of see we want it to be solid, not spotty.
A little smile on the face.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's about our whole,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. So, I mean,
Yeah.
so we're really fortunate to be able to do this every day.
You know, as we've been, we talked about some of that press we've gotten, you know, my phone actually rings from people from all over the country calling about beekeeping and talking to different solar developers and people that want to get solar arrays. It's a really interesting thing when you talk to people from some parts of the country where you learn that they don't produce hardly any honey where they live. They still keep bees because they think it's so fascinating and it's enjoyable. We're all lucky. This is the best honey area in the country. You know, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Dakotas. So really, you should feel fortunate if you're getting into this, or you're getting into it in an area where you can really have productive colonies.
What makes this area so good for making honey?
Part of it is, you know, we have our winter, lots of snow. We get a lot of moisture coming into the ground in that spring, and then we get this short, intense, hot season. It can be really humid. That kind of hot, humid weather really provides the nectar, gets the nectar flowing. And I know, you know, heavier soils, we have longer days, like up in, we get up in Canada too, they have those really long days that really can help with honey production. And I'm assuming it's just, soils and flowers. I don't know, I don't really understand 100% why, but the Midwest definitely is the place to make honey. That's where, you know, that's the realm. These commercial beekeepers, they go to California to do almonds, they go down to like Texas or Mississippi, and they all come up to the Midwest. They all come up to the North Dakota is actually, that would be the #1 state. North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, South Dakota. This is kind of where it all happens in the south. You have a question?
Yeah, two questions. First of all, what's the treatment for mites? And then the second question is, if people are transporting bees back and forth between the south and up here, is that introducing mites up here that have come from other places?
So there's mites are everywhere. Mites are everywhere in the whole country. What does happen when you have bees coming from all the different parts of the country and all different locations is that the viruses, they develop different strains, and that's what's really problematic. Because if you just have an area, you just have your own colony. Say you have 1,000 colonies in one county, and you sustain losses. You keep breeding from your hives that are surviving. You always still have viruses. Every hive has the ability to get sick. So there's always those viruses there, but as long as you keep them big and strong, just like a person. If you go stone billing and you get really cold, I don't know where you get sick. You get a weak immune system. But the viruses, that's the bummer about bees traveling so much, because you have more virulent viruses. It's not favorable for the virus to kill its host. So if you have like one location the viruses will slowly, you'll get in a more stable situation with viruses. And now, these viruses, it's just a moving target where it can be, really, really bad really quickly.
What's your treatment for the mites?
So that's a moving target. There's many treatments for mites. We use oxalic acid. That's an organic treatment. That's a really good treatment that we recommend. You can actually buy oxalic, it's wood bleach. You can buy it at Ace Hardware.
We're able to do that because the queen cells in it. So oxalic acid only works as a treatment if there's a brood break. It only kills the phoretic mites. So mites you actually see in the bees, not mites that you see in the capped brood. So
Where you would look up to learn about how to do an oxalic acid mite treatment is on Randy Oliver's website. It's called the Scientific Beekeeping. If you just Google that, you'll go to that. And he'll show you what you do is you mix oxalic acid with distilled water and some sugar. And then that's the treatment. And you can either do a dribble on them or you can do an oxalic vaporizer. But yeah, so oxalic acid is one. Another one that we use quite a bit is Apavard, which is amatraz. That's a synthetic treatment. But it doesn't hang around in the comb. It goes away once it's done. We've had good success with that. Those are the main treatments that might away quick strips. Things you have to rotate these treatments. That's the thing. You can't just do the same treatment.
So does this go through the pores of the mites, or they ingest it?
They have various different ways that they kill the mites. I don't actually know the specifics on how each one kills the mites.
And you're able to stay ahead of it with your operation?
We're able to, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of splitting and making those nukes. When we see an issue, a lot of times we split one colony, then maybe if we catch it, see that they're getting a little sick, they still quite a bit of brood. We'll pinch that queen, and maybe if it has 8 frames of brood, we'll split that into 3 or 4 colonies. And that brood break is also kind of a natural mite treatment that really can help. Then we give an oxalic treatment after that too.
It's actually one of the advantages of winter is it's another natural brood break.
And beekeeping is one of those things you do your whole life, and you still have something to do differently next year. It's just this constant learning. It's always, like I said, it's a moving target. Trying to really hone in on it.
Beekeepers make a joke. I don't think it's that funny, but it's not beekeeping anymore. It's mite management.
And you ask 10 different beekeepers how to do one thing, you definitely get 10 different ways. There's lots of different ways to do it. That scientific beekeeping, that's a really good resource for mite management.
You guys don't, there's no insulation around it.
So we only insulate the top.
Yeah.
We only insulate the top. The sides, you could do a minimal amount of insulating on the top. You don't want to trick those bees into thinking they're not where they're at. Because because actually a big colony produces a lot of heat. So if they start getting really warm in there, the queen starts rearing more brood than she should, but out of nowhere it's mid-February, and they're bigger than they should be, and they've got all this winter left. So you kind of, I think a little bit of insulation around the body could be fine, but the top we feel like is really important because you want that lid to stay stable temperature-wise. And one of the biggest things with overwintering is actually getting that moisture out of the hive. It's usually the moisture that kills the bees because that cluster produces a lot of moisture. We have an upper entrance, and we leave the bottom entrance wide open. So there's air. You want that air to get out there. Cold doesn't kill.
And we have a moisture board that then wick away moisture too.
Yeah, and that insulation like that just keeps it stable, so it doesn't hit that freeze, then warm up, and drip down.
They're available for more questions down in the vendor area. And we're gonna run that for at least another half hour, a little bit longer, so please go see them. They also have a website, boltonbees.com, I've been there. And so they'll be available for more questions there and
they're also selling honey.
Great,
Yeah.
so you can sample it, grab something down there, and do that. So thank you very much for being here.